Not every actor is willing to go to extremes for a role, and some flat out refused. From turning down intense workouts to rejecting drastic weight changes, these stars pushed back against Hollywood's body expectations. Their decisions sparked controversy, but also changed the conversation around what it really means to commit to a role. Nicolas Cage walked away from a major role, not because it wasn't big enough, but because it demanded something he refused to do. When he was considered for the lead in The Wrestler, Cage realized the transformation would require building the body of a steroid-using professional wrestler. He decided he didn't have enough time to achieve that look, and made it clear he would never take steroids to get there. Instead of pushing his body to that extreme, Cage stepped away, leaving the intense physical preparation to someone else entirely. Scarlett Johansson joined the Marvel Universe and immediately faced wild rumors about extreme body transformations. Before appearing in Iron Man 2, reports claimed she was on intense workouts, strict diets, and losing a dramatic amount of weight to become Black Widow. But Johansson pushed back against all of it, making it clear those claims were exaggerated and not how she prepared. Instead of following extreme routines or reshaping her body beyond reason, she rejected the idea of chasing an unrealistic superhero physique and stuck to a more sensible approach. Margot Robbie stepped into a major blockbuster and chose not to transform her body at all. While filming The Legend of Tarzan, Robbie decided there was no reason for her character, Jane, to be slimmed down or physically reshaped like her co-star's version of Tarzan. Since she pushed for a different portrayal of Jane, and even opted for a less revealing look, she saw no need to get fit for the role. Instead, Robbie embraced the experience, even enjoying London life rather than committing to intense physical training. Florence Pugh entered the Marvel Universe, but made one thing clear from the start: she wasn't going to be controlled by strict body expectations. While preparing for Black Widow, Pugh pushed back on the idea of being constantly monitored to stay in the right shape. She wanted to decide her own approach to fitness, not follow a rigid system imposed on her. After experiencing a brutal training routine for a previous role, Pugh chose not to go through that again, refusing to fully commit to the intense, ripped superhero transformation many actors take on. Jennifer Lawrence was pushed to lose weight for one of her biggest roles, but she refused. After being cast as Katniss in The Hunger Games, Lawrence faced pressure to diet and slim down. Instead of changing her body to fit expectations, she pushed back, not wanting girls to feel like they had to be a certain weight to relate to the character. She chose not to put herself through strict dieting, even while preparing intensely in other ways like archery, rock climbing, and cardio. Lawrence stayed committed to the role, just not to changing her body for it. Kate Winslet drew a firm line for one of her most demanding roles and refused to change her body. While preparing for the reader, Winslet chose not to diet or follow any personal trainer regimen, even with multiple on-screen scenes that exposed her natural appearance. Instead of aiming for perfection, she insisted on showing her body exactly as it was. She stayed committed to that decision throughout the film, avoiding the usual pressure to slim down or get fit. In the end, Winslet delivered the performance on her own terms, without reshaping herself at all. Robert Pattinson took on Batman, but refused to follow the usual superhero transformation. While preparing for the Batman, Pattinson openly avoided getting super ripped and even ignored parts of his trainer's recommended routine during lockdown. Instead of focusing on building a chiseled physique, he leaned more into learning martial arts for the role. Even as others around him stuck to intense workout schedules, Pattinson resisted that approach, making it clear he didn't want to fully buy into the extreme fitness expectations often tied to playing a superhero. Elizabeth Olsen joined the Marvel Universe, but didn't follow the usual get ripped rule. While many superhero actors go through intense transformations, Olsen revealed she was never required to get into peak physical shape for her role as Scarlet Witch. Instead of strict fitness demands, she was given the freedom to approach the character in her own way. Sometimes that meant practicing Muay Thai, other times working with a nutritionist, but never being pushed into extreme workouts. Olsen's experience stood out in a franchise known for intense physical transformations. Kirsten Dunst was asked to lose weight for a role, but she flat out refused. While working on The Beguiled, Dunst pushed back when the suggestion came up, making it clear she wasn't going to change her body for the part. She openly admitted she wasn't interested in dieting or intense workouts, even joking about eating fried chicken and fast food before filming. Instead of forcing a transformation, Dunst stood her ground and continued with the role as she was, choosing not to reshape herself just to fit expectations. Bob Odenkirk trained for 2 years for an action movie, but refused to look like a superhero. While preparing for Nobody, Odenkirk committed to getting in shape, but drew a hard line when it came to bulking up. He didn't want the exaggerated, muscle-heavy look often seen in action films. Instead, he chose a more grounded approach, aiming to look like an everyday dad while still doing his own fight scenes. Even after all that training, Odenkirk stuck to his decision, proving he could lead an action film without transforming into a ripped physique. Kristen Stewart starred alongside a trained bodybuilder, but didn't bulk up to match her at all. For Love Lies Bleeding, Stewart's character was meant to look much scrawnier, so she avoided intense training while her co-star spent weeks transforming physically. Even though the director initially thought she was working out, Stewart mostly kept things minimal, only doing occasional push-ups on set. Instead of chasing a muscular transformation, she leaned into the contrast between the characters, refusing to reshape her body beyond what the role actually required. David Harbour joined the Marvel Universe, but chose to go the opposite direction of a typical superhero transformation. For Black Widow, Harbour decided his character, Red Guardian, shouldn't look perfectly fit after years in prison. Instead of getting ripped, he leaned into the weight he had already gained and even pushed it further, reaching 280 pounds. While most actors would slim down or bulk up with muscle, Harbour chose to appear heavier to match the character's story. He embraced the look completely, refusing to turn Red Guardian into a chiseled superhero. Bryce Dallas Howard was told to lose weight for a major blockbuster, but refused and still did her own stunts. While preparing for Jurassic World Dominion, Howard pushed back against studio pressure to slim down, standing firm alongside the director. Instead of putting her body through extreme changes, she focused on performing the film's action scenes as she was. That decision allowed her to fully take on the physical demands of the role without forcing a transformation, proving she could handle the action without reshaping her body. Marlon Brando showed up to one of the most intense film productions and refused to change his body at all. While filming Apocalypse Now, Brando arrived weighing 360 pounds, far from the expected look of a military colonel. Even when it created challenges for the production, he didn't want his weight to become part of the character or be addressed on screen. Instead of forcing a transformation, the filmmakers adapted around him, ultimately keeping his character mostly hidden in darkness. Brando stayed exactly as he was, refusing to reshape himself for the role. Kevin Hart turned down workouts with some of Hollywood's fittest stars and didn't think twice about it. While filming Me Time, Hart was invited by his co-star to train together, but he refused, choosing not to compete or push himself in that environment. He made it clear he didn't want to lift heavy or follow intense routines alongside others. Instead, Hart preferred sticking to his own pace with a single trainer, avoiding the pressure of matching someone else's fitness level and refusing to get caught up in extreme workout culture. Sam Worthington showed up to a major action sequel looking nothing like a typical hero, and it shocked everyone. For Wrath of the Titans, Worthington decided his character, Perseus, should look like a father instead of a sculpted warrior. Since Perseus had a son, he chose to appear with a dad bod rather than a chiseled physique. But when filming began, that unexpected choice sparked tense arguments with the director and studio executives, who weren't prepared for the change. Worthington stuck with his version, refusing to reshape his body just to match expectations. Carrie Fisher returned to one of the most iconic roles ever and was immediately told to lose weight. While preparing to reprise Princess Leia in The Force Awakens, Fisher was pushed into exercising with a trainer hired to reshape her appearance. But she made it clear she hated the demand and didn't stay quiet about it. Instead of fully giving in, Fisher pushed back against the pressure and even went back to stocking her pantry with junk food. She showed up for the role, but refused to completely change her body just to meet expectations. January Jones landed a superhero role, but chose not to train for it at all. While preparing to play Emma Frost in X-Men First Class, Jones avoided strict workouts and diets because she didn't want to lose her natural curves. Instead of following a trainer's routine, she admitted she would even tell producers she was working out, while actually staying in her hotel room watching TV. Rather than reshaping her body into a typical comic book look, Jones stuck with her natural appearance and skipped the transformation entirely. Gina Rodriguez refused to push her body to the limit, even while starring in a hit show. During Jane the Virgin, Rodriguez chose not to keep up with constant workouts, despite the pressure to look a certain way on screen. As her schedule became more demanding, she made a clear decision not to kill herself in the gym, just to meet expectations. Instead of chasing a perfectly fit image, she focused on maintaining balance, staying active in her own way, and refusing to sacrifice her well-being for a ripped physique. Lena Dunham faced constant pressure to change her body, but refused to play along. While starring in Girls, Dunham became the center of attention for her on-screen nudity and was hit with non-stop body shaming online. Instead of trying to transform herself to meet expectations, she stayed confident in how she looked and didn't treat it as something she needed to fix. Even as criticism kept coming, Dunham continued showing up exactly as she was, refusing to reshape her body just to satisfy what others thought she should be. Rob McElhenney did something almost no actor would dare. He deliberately avoided getting ripped and went in the exact opposite direction. For It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, McElhenney gained 60 pounds for a storyline where his character thought putting on mass would make him stronger. Instead of chasing the typical Hollywood glow-up, he committed to a 5,000-calorie diet filled with foods like donuts and ice cream. While most actors try to look better each season, McElhenney chose to look worse on purpose, refusing the usual pressure to stay fit.